episode of UA Overtime. I'm Donna Conrad.
And I'm Farkas.
We've got an episode full of highlights and news circling around UAlbany sports, so let's get to it. Basketball season is right around the corner, and both men and women's teams are working hard towards another dominating season. Both teams are coming off conference championships, and this year they're looking to take it to the next level. Each team has a challenging schedule that will further prepare them for another conference title and a chance at being real contenders in the NCAA tournament. Now let's take it over to Troy for a deeper look at the programs.
The University of Albany is a small sports school in upstate New York. But for those of you who don't know, UAlbany basketball is a consistent America East powerhouse.
The UAlbany men and women are all about the championships.
Away, stolen by Ray Sanders. He'll hammer it down.
The men's team has won 3 straight America East Conference championships.
There's no better feeling than winning championships, and that's a big reason why a lot of guys come here, because we're champions.
And perhaps none felt better than this one last season. Take a listen.
Winning a championship so well, we want to take that next step. So, obviously, we're not going to have that chance if we don't take care of business.
And the men are determined to do so. They tip off the season against the Kentucky Wildcats.
Tournament. We're 13th seeded. University of Albany.
The women faced an elite team in the NCAA tournament last year, barely losing to Duke.
Everybody was like, oh yeah, we're going to go in and get blown out, and we really stuck in there.
And that is the kind of resiliency this team shows.
We are just tough, aggressive. We're not going to give up because everyone wants to beat Albany. Albany is the team to beat.
No matter if it's guys or girls, the mindset at UAlbany stays the same.
Do you like to win? Do you love to win? What more can you say? It's a winning program. 3 American East championships in a row, and looking forward to a 4th one.
We have to win now. It's no option.
It's a culture of winning here at UAlbany, and if you didn't recognize it before this, well, maybe you do now. From the University of Albany, this is Troy Farkas, UA Overtime. Now, Donna, as you can see, both teams are confident, and they should be. The men's conference preseason rankings and awards were released on Thursday, and even after 3 straight America East titles, UAlbany is not picked to win the conference. Instead, that honor goes to Stony Brook, whom the Danes beat in the conference final a season ago. Guards Peter Hooley and Evan Singletary have been chosen to represent UAlbany on the preseason all-conference team as well. It is Hooley's second selection and Singletary's first. Unlike the men, the women are the favorites to win the conference. The ladies have been to 4 consecutive NCAA tournaments, and if you'll remember, lost by just 2 points to Duke last year. Bad news is the Lady Danes lose senior leaders Sarah Royals and Margarita Rosario. Great news, though, they return 2-time Conference Player of the Year, Sharissa Richards, and guard Amani Tate, who was named to the preseason all-conference team.
Now on to football. After suffering a tough loss to Maine on homecoming weekend 39-7, the Great Danes took their 3rd loss in a row at home, getting shut out by number 25 Villanova 37-0. This now puts the team at 2-5 on the season, and they're tied for 5th in the CAA at 1-3. The Danes had multiple opportunities to put points on the board in the second quarter, but after turnovers and clock mismanagement at the end of the first half, UAlbany was unable to put up any points. Entering the second half, Villanova continued to capitalize on Albany's mistakes. And for more on that, let's take a look at Troy's post-game recap. Seemed a little chilly.
Well, thank you, Donna. UAlbany was destroyed here again at Bob Ford Field at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium. They lose to Villanova 37-0, the 2nd straight week that they have lost in a blowout here at home in front of the UAlbany fans. Quarterback DJ Crook was largely ineffective tonight. He throws 3 interceptions in the 3rd quarter before being pulled for backup Nevin Sussman. The running game was not much better. Elliot Crossy couldn't get anything going on the ground. He does not receive a carry in the second half after the first drive. The receiving core, Z Roberson, who has been a bright spot for the offense, was not tonight. He didn't really do much. Josh Gontarek still indefinitely suspended. He's definitely missed. The defense gives up 37 points. They are decimated at the linebacker core. They are not doing too much. The offense isn't helping them because the defense is having spent so much time on the field, but still unable to stop
anything. And this is a Villanova team who was without their starter quarterback. Josh Robertson was the FCS Player of the Year last year, and today they have Zach Benardzik, who did not throw an incompletion. He was 11 for 11 today. Picked apart the UAlbany defense. The Villanova running game was incredible. They had about 4 or 5 guys receiving carries today. They go for over 200 yards against the UAlbany team, who has a lot of questions heading into the bye week. From Bob Ford Field at Tom and Mary Casey Stadium, this is Troy Farkas, UA Overtime.
And we are back in the studio with WCDB football analyst Zach Horwitz. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Zach, thank you for joining us today. Now, we're here to talk about the UAlbany football team. We brought you in. You do some play-by-play for the school and some color broadcasting for UAlbany on the weekends. Now, this team, they had high expectations coming into the season. Why haven't they lived up to expectations?
There's a numerous amount of things. I think the biggest thing you got to talk about is the loss of Josh Gonteric and the loss of Nick Castro, the linebacker. I think you lose 2 huge captains, probably 2 of your biggest playmakers on the team, and you're just not going to be able to come back in the ways that you'd like to. I think you always also struggled with mixing together old Bob Ford recruits and new Coach Gattuso recruits. I think kind of mixing those 2 cultures and the chemistry between those guys, it's going to be hard, and it's going to take a while. This is a youthful team. Last year we had a lot of guys, a lot of seniors, and this year it's just a lot of young guys. I'm excited about this team going forward. This year's obviously a wash in a lot of ways, but still I think there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to the future of UAlbany.
What is it that those guys bring to this team that we're not getting, that we're missing with them not out there?
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to Josh Gonteric, I mean, it's so many different things. I think when you have a guy who literally eats up one half of the field, you have to account for Gonteric game in and game out. And when you have a guy you have to account for like that, it opens up so many parts of the offense. That opens up Brad Harris, right? I think there was one of the earlier games of the year, we were calling that game, and Brad Harris had a huge game, but you can really attribute that to the fact that, you know, you got to get a safety and a corner going against Josh Gonteric. Someone has to account for him. So that opens up one-on-one opportunities for other players, other guys. So in that capacity, Josh Gonteric, not only if he's making plays, but you have to account for him on the defensive side of the ball, opens up the running game, opens up other parts of the team. Obviously, losing to Castro on the other side of the football, tackle machine, team leader, chemistry on defense. There's so many things that he brought to the table. I think the big loss was losing Josh Gonteric. I think he was a massive playmaker. Obviously, I don't like comparing D1 AA football players to NFL players, but he had that, Odell Beckham style, right? Playmaker, makes ridiculous catches, super fast, not too tall, but can really go up and get the football. So losing Gonteric, I think, kind of collapsed this whole season in a way. And now, clearly, UAlbany's been shut out 37-0 twice. And, you can't produce offense without playmakers.
Right. Now, you talked about Gonteric. Obviously, losing him was a huge impact on the team. But do you think with any stars emerging in maybe Z. Roberson or any other freshmen coming in that are maybe in the future will be bigger playmakers that have to take his place, obviously, because we don't know whether or not he's going to come back?
Yeah, there are a ton. I mean, I think JoJo McClary is one you can talk about on the defensive side of the ball. I think Alec Krosky looks good. I think a lot of guys look good. I think DJ Crook has a lot of potential still. I think, honestly, the biggest concern I have right now is probably the offensive line. Offensive line help. It's still a lot of older guys, but I don't know if those older guys are really there and going to step up. So I'm kind of concerned about the offensive line going forward. But yeah, there's a ton of young guys. I think that's what this. When you change from Coach Ford, a guy's been coaching it for 40+ years, and you bring in this, NFL experience, D1 football experience, coaching Coach Gattuso, you're going to have to experience this whole new culture change, this whole new change in recruits. So when that happens, it's going to take time, and I think anyone who wants to put Coach Gattuso on the hot seat is crazy. I think you got a really good football coach here. You got a lot of good talent that will be coming in, but it's just going to take a lot of time.
So how much time do you think, UAlbany fans can expect before UAlbany are real contenders?
Real contenders? 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. I think to be a real contender, you have to understand where UAlbany was, right? You're in the NEC. This is a low-level conference. You're going to the CEA. I mean, you're talking about teams like Villanova, Delaware, Richmond, James Madison. College Game Day was just there.
Yeah.
This is a big time conference in a lot of ways. A lot of these teams have been. Villanova was asked to go to the Big East. They declined the offer. You know, I mean, you're talking about teams that have football ready guys. You know, Villanova has that Brian Westbrook. You know, you talk about Delaware. You have Joe Flacco, Super Bowl winning quarterback. These are really big time programs. So in order to get UAlbany there, it's going to take, one, a lot of money, which they just got recently.
Yes, they did.
So you know, that's step one. Two, you're going to need an NFL experience and a college experience coach. They got that too. So now just comes the talent portion of it, and that's takes the most time, and it's going to take a lot of good recruiting, and it's going to take a lot of exposure. You know, you need players to think, oh, I come to UAlbany. You know, this is a place I can get experience, and this is a place I can get drafted at. So I think it's going to take time before we really see UAlbany come into their own and really become like a Richmond, you know, to actually become a Richmond kind of team or a Villanova kind of team.
We talk about DJ Crook on the quarterback side, you know, coming from Penn State. Did you expect more out of him?
Yeah, I did. I really did. But, you know, I thought it could have been a little jaded in a sense because you just assume Penn State quarterback, he's going to come in and make plays. I do think that, you know, he struggled in a lot of ways of making bad mistakes, but I think he's had a really tough time with a lacking running game and a pretty porous offensive line. So, yes, I'd love to see more out of DJ Crook, and you think, oh, he's this Penn State quarterback, he's got to come in and play well. But, you know, I think you were even saying this across the board, quarterbacks really need a great offensive line. If you can't get protection, you can't make plays, especially a guy who likes to run around in the pocket. If you can't, you know, find the holes, or if if the pocket's collapsing really quickly, which you see all the time, teams can easily blitz and he'll just get sacked. It's kind of hard to really assume that he's going to make all the plays he wanted to make.
Yeah, definitely high expectations for DJ Crook coming into the season. Zach, you mentioned you were a guy who, unlike us, you were here when Bob Ford was the coach of this team. What's the difference in the two regimes?
Bob Ford, I think, because they were in this lower conference for so long, and listen, Bob Ford had brought this team a long way, but it was more focused on team and team energy and team chemistry, which is great. But I think this new regime is more focusing on talent. And I think that's how you get to that next level, which is what I do like about Coach Petruzza, which I really think is why he needs a lot of time. Because I think this regime is more focusing on getting really talented guys in-house and then developing that talent. Where I think Coach Ford was more about, let's get the homegrown guys, let's get guys with high morale, team chemistry, and want to just win and play on the field, where now you're trying to bring in guys who have aspirations, to other places, whether that be football in the NFL or, football Europe, Canada, whatever. These guys you want to bring in now have aspirations because they're that talented.
All right. Well, Zach, thank you for joining us, for imparting your wisdom on us. You can listen to Zach Horowitz on WCTV. He's calling games. We've got one more home game left.
One more home game, yeah.
One more home game left for the UAlbany football Great Danes. Thank you, Zach, again.
Thank you very much.
Great talking to you, and we'll be right back with UA Overtime.
Welcome back for more UA Overtime. With only 5 more conference matches left in the regular season, the Great Danes volleyball team looks to remain dominant in the America East and make a push for one of the top seeds in the tournament. After this past weekend, the team stands at 2nd in the conference with an overall record of 11-8, and in the conference they stand at 6-1. Their only conference loss this season coming from the UNH Wildcats, who sit atop the conference at 6-0. And the Danes will look to their leaders Tatum Junkston, Lainey Lanedecker, and Amanda Dolan during their last leg of the regular season to put them in a good position for playoffs. And now, Troy, let's take a look at their most recent match against Binghamton.
Well, thank you, Donna. Here's UAlbany hosting Binghamton in the Dig Pink match, seeking to raise money for the Side Out Foundation, which works with the volleyball community to combat breast cancer. Wearing pink jerseys, the Danes also passed out pink balls to the crowd before the game. And there's UAlbany star Lainey Linedecker. We go to the first, and the set from Michaela McCauley goes to Linedecker with the kill. Danes up 14-5 in the first. A few plays later, some great passing gets Linedecker another spike as UAlbany wins the first set 25-13. In the second, here's a spike from Binghamton's Megan Burgess, who was giving the Danes problems all night. Bearcats trailing in the second. Later on, Christina Morina winds up, but she is stuffed at the net by Tatum Junkston. Albany up 20-11 in the second. But here she is again, Linedecker off the set from McCauley, slams it over the net, and the Danes win the second set. Binghamton not out of it yet. Here's the high set from and Gabby Alicia spikes skies for the kill. Team down 3. Binghamton trying to inch closer, but the spike is met by some pink jerseys at the net. Albany winning 19-14 in the third. Match point here, the crowd is up, and Casey Muchniggy can't handle the serve as UAlbany wins in straight sets. Here's what UAlbany's own Shannon Hurley had to say about the breast cancer night and team's performance.
It's a lot of fun. This is where we can support breast cancer, and we try to do as much as we can. We wear pink jerseys, we get pink tape as we decorate together. We come in early, paint posters, we painted pumpkins. So all together, it's kind of just support and it's a team activity for us. A lot of it, we have to stay focused a lot. A big thing with us, we're very young. If we start slow, we have to come back. We just go one by one. We're not really worried about playoffs yet. And a big thing, again, just staying focused.
Now, Lainey Linedecker earned her 3rd Conference Player of the Week award last week, and she continues to make a huge impact on this team. So we had UA Overtime's own Sharon Amaro catch up with her.
I mean, it's always an honor every week, literally, whenever you get the weekly award to see that. So for half a second, it's always a feel good, but then we have the rest of the season, so you're never satisfied until you get the end product of the season for the team. I would say every week when I do get it, it makes me strive to work harder. I'm never satisfied with it, so.
Looking at field hockey now, UAlbany junior goalkeeper Maxie Primes became the winningest goal in UAlbany history over a week ago after a 6-0 shutout at Vermont. Now that put her at 46 wins all time, which places her over Ashley Ross, a member of the team from 2005 to 2008.
I mean, it makes me feel good, but I have to say I'm the goalie, I'm the last person, and before me is playing a great defense, and they definitely have a part in this award accomplishment. So it makes me feel good, but I have to say the defense is playing a big part.
To be in her junior year and to have the most wins, that speaks volumes of what kind of player she is.
Well, there's Maxie as she looks over at a Maine team that put up 6 goals on her the last time around, and it wouldn't happen again. First goal scored by Anna Botino off a pass from Paula Heuser in the first. And speaking of Heuser, here she is in the second half, carving up the defense, flips the shot past the goalie, 2-0 Danes. And Donna, look at that softball team showing their support for the field hockey team. Heuser again skies the pass to Botino, but she's tripped up, still winning 2-0. In the 61st minute, Maine's Katie Bingle delivers a great pass, and Cassie Svetic puts it by Primes. Maine down 2-1. Albany's Liza Morgan here looks for the dagger, just misses wide left. Now she couldn't deliver, but off the corner here, Laura Page sets up Heuser, who with this goal becomes UAlbany's all-time leading scorer. We will hear more from her later. Here's what the team had to say about the performance today.
You know, they play very high speed and they try to get you to play like them, which is a bit frantic. We try to say, let's play our pace, keep our composure, not get caught up in that, and I thought our team did very good.
Yeah, we had to definitely work on our defense, and we really wanted to make sure that we don't let them run and run, so we had to interrupt them.
To see Paula her first year, do pretty well, you're like, oh, okay, she could do something, then second year just explode, and then in her junior year to beat all of them, I'm pretty blown away. It's her work ethic is amazing, and much like Maxie, she's never content with just being okay. She wants to win and get better and have our team succeed, and she'll put us on her back anytime.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to break records, but I mean, the important thing today is that we won.
Now moving on to men's soccer, the Danes were able to clinch a spot in the America East tournament with a 1-0 win in double overtime Saturday night against UNH off the foot of Musa Kanat. This happened to be Kanat's first career goal as a Dane, and what a way to do it. This is their 8th win in the season that marks the most wins that the Danes have had in a single season since 2008. But now switching gears to the women's side. Earlier in the week, UAlbany hosted UMass Lowell. And here they are. UAlbany women looking to pick up another conference win. In the second half, Danes up 1-0. Here's a wacky play. UMass goalie tries to clear the ball and instead kicks it off her own player. Goes right to Bianca Webb, who floats it in. UAlbany up 2-0. Later in the second half, Caroline Kopp takes the corner kick for the Danes. Alexia Schneider heads it in, and it is now 3-0. Now take a look at this. Mariah Williams moves up the field, kicks it off the goalie, gets it back, and scores the goal. The Danes would go on to win 4-0 against the Riverhawks.
After a win Sunday versus Maine, the Great Danes have earned the number 2 seed in the America East Tournament, which is the highest in UAlbany women's soccer program history. The team will take on the winner of Vermont and UMBC on November 1st right here at UAlbany. We will certainly have more on that next episode.
Sophomore standout Vivian Vega was invited to train with the U20 Mexican national team in preparation for the 2015 CONCACAF Women's U20 Championship in December. If Vega makes the team, she will travel to Honduras to compete. And the winner of this CONCACAF tournament automatically qualifies for the 2016 FIFA U20 Women's World Cup in Papua New Guinea. Now this is nothing new to Vega, who formerly competed with the U17 Mexican national team. She's missed the last 2 games for the Great Danes, but should return to the team sometime this week.
Now, Donna, you gotta love how Vivian here, we had her on the show last time around, and we didn't talk to her about this. She made no mention of it, that she's playing for Mexico. How cool is that?
I mean, I do believe she found out a couple days later, but how figures that we interview her a couple days before.
Just our luck, Donna.
Really, I know.
Yeah. We'll be right back with some closing remarks. Stay here. You are watching UA Overtime.
Welcome back to UA Overtime. So before we let you go, Troy, what was the football team doing on their bye week?
Well, Donna, UAlbany football head coach Greg Gattuso, he was competing in the It's Getting Chilly Out competition to benefit the American Heart Association during the team's bye week. Also in the competition was UAlbany women's basketball head coach Katie Abrahamson Henderson. Now, we do not, unfortunately, have any video footage of the event, but we can be sure that there was a lot of chili.
Yeah, take our word for it. A lot of chili.
Lots of chili.
And that wraps up this episode of UA Overtime. Be sure to tune in to next episode for more on Great Danes Athletics. For UA Overtime, I'm Donna Conrad.
And I'm Troy Farkas.